Yeah, I was able to watch last night's game, so that was fun. Yeah, they feed off each other. It's a very energetic lineup. They're really good. Yeah, like you said, they put the ball in play. So you make them swing at your pitches. You figure out what they're good at, what they're not good at, and I'll just tell you how to attack them. I can't say like too much because they're gonna watch this, or you would intend that they would. But yeah, I mean it's a really good lineup. I'm not falling for the average Joes that they're not. I never once thought. I mean, they got the best record in the NL. They're a really good team.
Some more for Blake. Go to Paul, second row.
Blake, along those lines, their lineup's full of guys who, once they're on base, like to run and can move. How much does that change what you're doing on the mound, and how much extra effort do you have to put into keeping them close for your catchers?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is, keep them off the bases. If they are on the bases, it just depends which runner's on base. No matter what, it'll change the way, you view them, the leg lift to home, the time, the looks, disrupting that. Like I've studied them. I understand who's running, who's not running, counts, all that. So if we get to that point, then yeah, I'll be ready for it and well aware of it.
Let's go up to Jack, far right, second row from the top.
Blake, obviously, you would like to be healthy all year, but like to have 3 of the 4 guys in your rotation who didn't have a ton of innings in the regular season, like, do you think that's been a benefit as you guys have gotten into October here, which is kind of how fresh you are?
Yeah, I mean, I think on the fresh part, yeah, for sure. I think we were able to throw enough innings to where, we can learn from mistakes and get a lot better from that as well. So I really like where the starting staff's at. I mean, Yoshi was the only guy that really, posted the whole year. But for everybody else to be healthy, feeling good, confident with the amount of innings they had on the season to be able to pitch in the postseason, I really like where we're at.
And then coming into this postseason, you talked about wanting to get deeper into playoff games. What has allowed you to do that in these first couple starts that you've had?
Yeah, I think it's just mindset. As you get older, you learn a lot more. You understand pitching. You understand how important belief is, and yeah, you just get better just with age and understanding the game and situations and what pressure really is, and how awesome these moments are. So I think age has made me a lot better.
Come down to the second row in the middle. Sonia.
Hey Blake, I know you were on the IL when these teams had their season series, but how would you say that the Dodgers have changed in those months since? Yeah,
I mean, we haven't beat them, so that's good motivation if you need it. But no, I just think we're playing good team baseball. We're all in it. The chemistry between us is really strong, and the want to win every game is strong as well. And I've been on postseason teams where it's been different, but energy-wise, chemistry-wise, is probably the best that I've been a part of. So I'm really excited for what we can do. And, yeah.
Kirsten?
Like, just to piggyback off of that, I know you kind of talked game plan and obviously not wanting to go into specifics, but considering that you were hurt when the team did play here, is there any information that you can kind of take from talking to other guys who did face them? I know you're someone who does just kind of like to have a lot of information going into your starts. Is that conversations that you've either had with some of your other teammates, guys in the rotation, or just kind of how did you go about taking in some of this information?
Yeah, I didn't ask anybody. I watched games, footage. I watched yesterday's game. Like, the playoff games are going to give you the best idea of who they are, how they handle the pressure, or how they play on the road, how they play at home, what's different. So by watching that, it just gave me a lot of insight on, each hitter, what they can do, what I think I can get away with, where I can attack. So yeah, I mean, just like the biggest thing is watching the game. Like if you watch the game, you watch players at bats, how they handle, failure, success. It really helps you understand the player. And then when it's the one-on-one matchup in the box and I'm on the mound, that's where, you understand, like, was I right, was I wrong? And you feel the at-bat out and learn how to pitch.
All the way up in the right-hand corner, Bill.
Thanks. Blake, I'm sure you know from playing in San Diego and San Francisco how people there feel about the Dodgers. But I wonder if you look, in Seattle where you grew up, never been to a World Series, these guys never been to win one. You think people around the country outside Los Angeles are like, yeah, well, it's okay, we'd like a fresh face? Or you think they're rooting for you guys?
I don't know. I think they'd root for us. I think they'd root. I mean, that's a wide question. I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe we just won one, as the Dodgers did, not me, but yeah, I don't know. I know being from Seattle, how important the World Series is there, and the fans, how excited they are, and how crazy the city was in Seattle after they beat Detroit. So I was well aware of that, but yeah, I haven't looked into that too much, but I'm sure whoever wins the World Series, they'll be happy.
Miguel, I know you guys have had the last 2 days off, able to recover from the NLDS. Dave Roberts was talking about just how last night during practice, you guys were watching the matchup between the Cubs and the Brewers. You all really prioritized just being together last year in those moments, preparing for each round. How were these last 2 days just kind of valuable for you all as a team to reset now for this series?
Yeah, something that we learned last year was the power of being together and kind of like making these the most important days and weeks of our year. We all know that we play a really long regular season where you're gonna go through up and downs or whatever the case may be, but these couple weeks are kind of like for the boys, and we kind of like taking that into the point where everything that we do these last couple weeks of the year is among ourselves and kind of like trying to get any kind of edge that we can get from being together, being around each other, like talking about the game, talking about situations that might be happen in the game, going over stuff as the other team is kind of like approaching us, or how did we play these 6 games against the Brewers or the Cubs, because we play against them in the regular season and we gather information. And I feel like, yesterday workout, we were there just like preparing, having fun and kind of like hanging around, but at the same time we kind of talking among each other about the game and what we're gonna expect about these guys. And we didn't know who we were gonna face at that time, but I feel like that's kind of like the point of like being together every single day. We're not taking days off. That's why we're here today. We just landed, and we make a decision that we're gonna sacrifice a lot of our time outside the field with the families, and we're just gonna be here 100% of our time to try to do something that is really special. And I think we all deserve it, and the organization and the city, and we're gonna go for it.
Let's go to Bill on the far right in the third row.
Yeah, Miggy, what do you remember about the series against the Brewers where they swept you guys, and how different are the Dodgers now than the Dodgers of July?
Yeah, the difference is that our guys are healthy, and we have everybody knows our pitching staff has been carrying us for the last 2 months of the year, and they've been throwing the ball really well. They started pitching, and our team got healthier. And I remember when we came here, we didn't have Kike, we didn't have Blake, we didn't have a couple of the guys, and we were kind of like playing a little short on the bench and the back end of the bullpen and the starting pitching. And I feel like right now we're in a really good place to kind of go head to head with the best of the National League. They show the whole league and the world that they were the best team during the regular season, and they deserve it. And we didn't play good against them in the regular season, but we have another chance. Here we are in the last 2 team standings in the National League, and we're looking forward for this challenge.
Let's go to Fabian, second row.
Yeah, Miggy, how do you prepare to play a team with the Brewers that kind of puts pressure on the opponent so frequently?
Yeah, I mean they're a team. They're aggressive. They're gonna run. They bunt. They do the little things. They don't strike out much. They put the ball in play, and it's not a secret. You gotta be ready for every pitch, every out, every opportunity. I feel like our preparation wouldn't change. We are who we are as a team. We just know that like beforehand we're gonna have our meetings and our conversations and we're gonna be ready to go. But we all understand what kind of team they have over there, and it's they play out of the energy of the game, the kind of the momentum. They take charge of that, and they have pretty good pitching in the back end of the bullpen. So we're gonna be ready for it, and then I think like I said, we gathered a lot of information during the regular season.
Bob in the front.
Miguel, when you and Christian Yelich were together in Miami, did you envision him having this kind of career?
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I think he's a captain himself over there. I know not many people talk about like him being a captain or something like that. He's just like an old veteran player that kind of helps everybody to kind of run the clubhouse and the team. And I know because I know Jackson Churio really close. We're from Venezuela. We're with the same agency, and I know how highly he speaks about Yelich. And I can say the same thing when we play together in Miami. He's not a guy who gonna talk a lot, but he's gonna show you through preparation and work ethic. And I'm happy for him because he's getting the opportunity to be in this stage. And he always showed me that he was kind of like a guy that you can follow because he's a great leader.
Dave, obviously you guys saw this team in the regular season. Just from what you saw from them in the NLDS, how different are the Brewers today? And also how different are the Dodgers as you guys prepare for this now NLCS?
Yeah, I think that they're similar to what we saw earlier this year in the sense of think they're playing really good baseball. Towards the end of the year, they kind of scuffled a little bit, but, they're back to playing, the way they play. I think we're in a much better spot, just as far as on the health side, on the position player side, on the pitching side, and we're playing better. So, it should be a great series.
We'll stay in the second row towards the right, Fabian, and then Sonia.
Yeah, Dave, what went into going with Blake for game one, and is Shohei going to start game two?
Yama's going to start game two. So it's going to be Blake, and just those are the guys that could potentially pitch on regular rest.
And what went into sort of, is Shohei going to pitch sort of more towards the middle of the series then, or what's
He'll
the
pitch
sort
at
of
some
plan?
point, yeah, but we just don't know which day. But yeah, he's going to pitch at some point, yep.
Then to Sonia.
Dave, with the way that Will's feeling now, do you still see a need to carry 3 catchers, or is that maybe somewhere where you can remove a position player out of pitcher?
Great question, and I had a couple conversations to have shortly. But that's a good thought.
Is the idea of pitching Shohei in front of an off day still something that the team will want to do this series, or does that not matter as much?
Not as important. I think that just kind of appreciating having 4 starters in a potential 7-game series and who can pitch potentially twice, and that's kind of the impetus versus Shohei, having that day off after a game,
Let's go to Jesse down in front.
Hey, Doc. I assume you watched last night or just the Brewers in general lately. The Padres get a lot of pub for their bullpen and the velocity. I mean, seeing, especially when Mizorowski comes out of the pen and Ashby and these guys throwing 100, what do you think about how they've developed the velocity and back end here in Milwaukee?
They've done a great job with drafting, scouting, player development, roster construction. They do a fantastic job. And then you take Murph and his staff, they've dominated it. The bullpen, they get you, with velocity from the right side, the left side. They've got balls that, sinkers, heavy sinkers. So they've got kind of all the different kind of mixes, and they're very talented, and they're not afraid to run those guys out there. So we got our work cut out, but as far as organization-wise, they've done a fantastic job.
Go to Paul in the second row on the end.
Dave, going back to Will Smith for a minute, the Brewers, they like to run a lot. Obviously, when Will's healthy, he's as good as anyone at slowing down the running game. I know there's other stuff that goes into it, but how confident are you in your team's ability to slow down the Brewers a little bit?
Yeah, you know what, I think that feel good. We're definitely mindful of those guys being aggressive on the bases. We like our guy back there, the catch and throw, but a lot of it is, the pitcher's got to, vary looks and hold, and we got to be mindful. But that's certainly something that we know, they're very opportunistic on the bases for sure.
Katie?
Dave, when you look at the Brewers high, it's clear you and others, they're a very athletic team. They're relentless. They don't make a lot of mistakes. When you think about how you combat their style of play, what do you need to do to execute that?
I think the main thing, which obviously you've got to play to put yourself in this position, is get a lead. When you have a lead, their aggression is more tempered. And when the wind's at their back, they're very aggressive. And so I think the thing is that if you can get a lead, put a little bit of pressure on them. They're a little bit more conservative. But if not, Murph's going to be aggressive, and the hit and runs, the first to thirds, the stolen bases, and all that kind of stuff.
Stay in that second row, Anthony.
Maybe a little similar to what you were just saying about Mizurowski and those guys, but what is having Roki, as effective as he's been for you, done for you in your management of your bullpen? And in a perfect world, do you like him in that one inning thing, or more of, what we saw in his last appearance?
Perfect world one inning, because there's a cost to 2 innings, or certainly 3 innings as far as on the backside of that, right? But it certainly, helped stabilize the pen with leverage. Obviously, our guys have been going through it, but I do think that in the last week, our guys, we've seen some good things out of the guys in the pen, but certainly Roki's been a big part of it.
John, down in front.
Yeah, it's been suggested in a few places that Blake was slow played for just these kind of occasions. Is it fair to say that you guys used him cautiously in the regular season?
I think that's fair. Could he have probably pitched earlier? Possibly. But when you're talking about kind of the arm, the term of the contract, the shorter term, the season, making sure that he is raring to go for the postseason, through the postseason. So that was certainly part of the math, and that's why guys like what Clayton did and Emmett Sheehan and other guys did throughout the season to kind of get us to this point, to now be able to turn guys like Tyler loose and Blake Snell loose as well. Yeah.
Let's go to Bill, far right, third row.
Yeah, Dave, did Shohei's slump figure into the pitching choice at all? Taking pitching off of his plate for a couple days, let him recalibrate, to use your word, on hitting?
No, not at all. I think it was, just kind of, Shohei's going to pitch one game this season, or this series. So, it's one game, and then you have 2 other guys that potentially can pitch on regular rest. And so how do you get, sort of your best pitchers the most innings in a potential 7-game series? So I expect a different output from Shohei on the offensive side this series. But yeah, pushing him back was no bearing on the offensive performance.
All the way up in the far right, Bill.
Dave, credit to you guys for being back at this stage. The other 3 finalists, or Final 4, if you will, haven't been in the World Series in this century. As you guys travel around the country and get out of LA, do you sense that fans are happy to see you guys at the top, or do you think fans might want to see some fresh blood?
I think they're happy to see us. People love for fresh blood until you potentially see TV ratings, but I think they like seeing the Dodgers, whether they don't like rooting against us or rooting for us. But we got a lot of good players. I think we do things the right way as far as how we play the game. So I think they like seeing us, even here in Milwaukee.
Staying up on the right, Jack.
Dave, when you look at this a Brewers lineup that
Oh, yeah, Jack.
Doesn't chase a lot, makes a lot of contact. What kind of challenges does that pose, and how do you guys kind of balance maybe trying to get them to chase versus pitching them aggressively in the zone, if they put the ball in play more than maybe a lot of teams you see?
I think it's attacking them. I think a team that doesn't punch much, you try to be too fine, you're going to see yourself, 6, 8, 9 pitches, and ultimately not get a strikeout. So I think the way to attack these guys is to attack them, and then sort of deal with the fallout, the result earlier in a count versus trying to nibble and chase that punch. But yeah, when you get count leverage, then obviously you're going to go for the punch out in the right time. But I think for the most part, sort of how I felt we did a good job with the Phillies and going after those guys, especially the big three, kind of that same approach. Certainly a different profile of hitter, but I think that's the same approach.
We'll take a few more, Nobu and Russell on the left, and then we'll finish up with Bob on the right.
Hi, Dave. Back to Rocky. Have you talked to him about back-to-back, throwing back-to-back game? And then are you still cautious to use him as a back-to-back game?
He is ready for whatever we need of him. So I haven't talked to him. I talk to him quite frequently, but whatever is needed of him, he'll be ready to go. So I'm not worried about the back-to-back.
Staying right here on the left, Russell.
Hey, Doc. Platoon advantage and matching up isn't something that's new to managing, but I think for the general public, they're starting to understand the idea of pockets more and hearing about pockets. What's changed about how you have to deploy or combat against another manager, trying to attack those pockets in your lineup, or maybe what you do later in games?
Yeah, I think it's lineup to lineup, roster to roster. I think that platoon advantage in a vacuum, always long view makes sense. But in a postseason setting, when you're baking in off days, it's just not always something you see managers do all the time. Certainly in the last couple years, specifically this year. You're just not as aggressive as hitting for guys because, the cost of the 8th inning, the 9th inning, and as opposed to a line shift or change, right? So I think it's sort of philosophical, manager to manager, organization, but, for me is, I'll hit for guys potentially, but there's certain guys I trust. And then you're talking about lineup construction, and how best to essentially attack the starter to combat the potential pen and those kind of things. So that's kind of philosophical, but that's kind of overarching how I look at it.
We'll finish up with Bob down in the front.
Hey, Dave, when you saw the Brewers in spring training, and of course you saw them again in July, even in spring, you think to yourself, these guys are better than people think. They got a chance to be playing deep in the season?
Absolutely. They're just gritty. They're tough, and they take on Murph's personality. And they've got some guys that can slug. They've got some athleticism. They really defend well. They can pitch well. So it's like they're going to be in every game. They've got complete buy-in. And so they're hungry. So those things are, components that are scary. And so I definitely felt they were a very good ball club. So anything, Murph speaks to in the Lou Holtz vein, we're not buying, because that's a very good ball club.